Welcome back, Cyber Explorers. It's Alfie, and in this video we'll explore together with this step-by-step guide how to install Linux Ubuntu 24, separate disk, standalone. So without further ado, let's get right into it. First, let's clarify the title. Separate disk means that we will install Ubuntu on its own disk. So get your disk ready and ensure you don't need anything on that disk because it will be formatted. Standalone means there will be no other operating system connected to the PC during the Ubuntu installation process. So if you want to install Ubuntu this way, and you have a Windows installation on the PC already, disconnect the Windows disk. After you finish the Ubuntu installation, reconnect the Windows disk, and you will be able to switch between the systems, Windows and Ubuntu, from the boot menu, or from the BIOS or UEFI or other ways. This way, we ensure that the grub bootloader will be installed on the Ubuntu disk and not on the Windows disk. Second, you will need a Ubuntu 24 installation media, such as a Ubuntu 24 bootable USB drive. Our video on how to create a Ubuntu 24 bootable USB drive with Rufus might help you. The link is in the description below. Third, you will need to insert the USB drive into the computer, then restart the PC and access the BIOS or UEFI. Adjust the boot priority to boot from the USB drive, or you can enter the boot menu and boot from the USB drive directly. Our video on how to boot from a USB drive might help you. The link is in the description below. When you first boot to the Ubuntu installation media, choose Try or Install Ubuntu. If you encounter any issues, select the Ubuntu Safe Graphics option. At the Welcome to Ubuntu screen, choose your language and click Next. Then, select your keyboard layout and click Next. Choose your internet connection, wired, Wi-Fi, or don't connect to the internet, and click Next. Keep the default option Install Ubuntu selected and click Next. Keep the default option Interactive Installation selected and click Next. Now, choose which apps you would like to install, the default selection or the extended selection, and click Next. Check the two options to install proprietary software and click Next. Let's partition the disk. As we said, we will be installing Ubuntu on its own disk. Note that disks in Linux will show as SDA, SDB, etc., or NVMe0N1, NVMe1N1, etc., and partitions will show as SDA1, SDA2, etc., or NVMe0N1P1, NVMe0N1P2, etc. Choose Erase Disk and install Ubuntu. Then click Next. Then choose the drive to install Ubuntu on and click on Next, and Ubuntu will partition the disk automatically. Or, choose Manual Installation. Then click Next. If you have a brand new drive, it might show without a partition table or as free space. Just click on the disk and click on New Partition Table. If you have a used disk, you might see a few partitions already exist. Select the partitions one by one and click on the minus icon to delete the partition. The easiest partitioning scheme on a non-GPT disk is simply a root partition and a swap partition. Note, the swap partition is not required. You can use a swap file instead, as Ubuntu uses a swap file by default. If the disk is GPT type, you must also add a BIOS boot or an EFI partition depending on the boot mode of your BIOS, legacy BIOS, or UEFI. If you are planning on creating a swap partition, then allocate the system partition with max size minus swap size. The swap partition should be the same size as your RAM, or double it if you have low memory RAM. With Ubuntu, you can just create the system partition, which is the root partition, and Ubuntu will automatically create the EFI system partition. So, select the free space and click on the plus icon. Choose the system partition size. Use as ext4. Set the mount point at / or root, and click OK. If you want to create a swap partition, select the rest of the free space, and click on the plus icon. Specify the size you want. Set it as swap, and click OK. Make sure that the device for bootloader installation is the same as your Ubuntu drive, and click Next. Enter your name, computer name, username, and a password for your account. Uncheck the Require My Password to Login option if you prefer, and click Next. Select your time zone and click Next. Then review your choices and click Install. Finally, wait for the process to finish and click Restart now to reboot. And that's it for today. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and don't forget to activate the notification bell so you won't miss out on any new uploads. Thank you for watching. Until next time, see you later.